Okay, so we're just getting ready to go on a 9-day road trip. Tomorrow morning we're leaving Denver and driving all the way to Grand Teton National Park, where we're going to camp for one night. Then on Monday morning we're going to start our backpacking trip, and we're going to be spending 3 days and 2 nights backpacking through the Grand Teton National Park, and then we'll hike back in on Wednesday, head to Salt Lake City for a couple of days, and then head south to Canyonlands, where we're going to be backpacking again for 3 days. I'm very excited, but we have a lot to get done this afternoon, so we're just cleaning the house, getting everything packed, gotta harvest stuff from the garden, gotta make sure everything is watered, get all our snacks ready, pack all of our bags, make sure we have all of our kit, and then we can head off. I am so excited. But first I need to get cleaning. So this was the first time that I'd laid my clothes out like this and everything that I was planning to take. But I realized that if I can visualize everything, I won't overpack and I won't bring things that I just simply don't need.
Washing my feet in the high tide. Taking in the cold sunshine. There's magic here on the coastline.
Okay, we have just packed the car and we are getting ready to head off. It's about 8 hours to where we're going. We're going to Grand Teton National Park. This has been on my list of places that I would love to go, but genuinely never thought I would ever get there. So I'm pretty excited, I won't lie. Bit scared of seeing a grizzly bear, but also want to see one. It's a very weird feeling. Anyway, it's pretty late. Yeah, it's 8:30. I think we were planning on leaving a bit earlier, but alas. When you're a bit stressed, you're leaving the house and you have to check like all the gas is off and everything's unplugged, and yeah, it's a bit stressful. But anyway, everything's finally done. I'm super excited, and yeah, we're gonna stop somewhere on the way to get a coffee, maybe some food, and then head on, and then we're gonna sleep in a campsite that's like just outside Grand Teton National Park. It's one of the official Gov websites, campsites. And then in the morning we will start our backpacking trip.
Drifting our time away.
We had a very rainy and grey start to our trip, but we could not have been more excited to have been on this trail. So we started at String Lake and connected to Cascade Canyon Trail and decided to hike all the way up until you hit this fork, and that's where we decided to camp. The weather was pretty miserable and I was pretty scared that I was going to see a bear around every single corner. So the first day was, let's just say, I didn't film very much. We spent probably the rest of the evening in the tent because the rain just didn't let up. But as soon as we woke up in the morning, we were greeted with this beautiful sight of the mountains surrounding us deep in the valley. Our tent was also surrounded by columbines, which I can only imagine how beautiful they are in peak wildflower season. Luckily, I recognize them by their leaves because we're growing some in our garden. The next day we hiked through the valley and up to Lake Solitude, which was unbelievably quiet and beautiful. Despite the grey weather, there was just a little bit of blue peeking through the clouds. After spending a few minutes here, we hiked the rest of the way, all these different switchbacks, all the way up to Paintbrush Divide, which sits at about 10,700 feet in elevation. We really soaked in the views because they were just unbelievable. And then we hiked down and camped in Lower Paintbrush Canyon. The next morning, we really enjoyed the bright blue skies that finally came out, and then made our way south. Now, Canyonlands is like no place I've ever been before in my entire life. Everything that you pack in, you have to pack out, of course, but you also have to pack in all of your water. This meant that our bags were a lot heavier than they were in Tetons, and despite the elevation being pretty similar, it just felt incredibly tough. However, when we got to our campsite, it just felt so quiet and peaceful, and as if your voice could be heard throughout the entire canyon. We didn't see a single other person on this trail for the few days that we were there. But there's a reason why I go back to this one again and again. This was the first night that we had camped without the rainfly, and it was beautiful just watching the stars come out and seeing how they lit up the sky. It was a pretty magical evening, and probably one of the best night's sleep I've had in a long time.
We have options. I'm almost tempted to maybe go that way.
Okay.
Because this is, I think, where a lot of like the coolest needle swims are, and this Elephant Canyon, I think that's what those stand for, Elephant Canyon Campground.
With our packs not feeling that much lighter, we set off into the next day hiking through the canyon and up and out of it. This was also a pretty grueling hike, which is why I don't have that much footage, but I really hope that you enjoy what I was able to get. We took a break as the sun was coming up to sit and have our breakfast. Nothing too big, just a bar. But we finished our hike and made our way home.